it has to be about the UFC 271 event we saw over the weekend. Nigerian New Zealand sensation, we're talking Israel Adesanya, was the winner. So he defended his title, middleweight title, for the very fourth time at the expense of Whittaker. And of course, he's beaten Whittaker once already, and he did it a second time, courtesy of a unanimous point decision. Must be exciting for Adesanya.
Not just exciting for Adesanya. Recently, we've been talked about improved contract in the UFC for Israel Adesanya, and he's made it loud that he brought the whole of African continent into the UFC and the Oceania continent into the UFC. He's a big name in the UFC division. Fantastic fighter, Israel Adesanya. And I like the fact that he comes with a lot of swags. He's a talker, and not just a talker, but he does it when he talks it. And that's the beautiful thing about Israel. He comes with the finesse, the energy. Fantastic fighter for me. One of the very best in terms of technical fighters in the UFC. Had to win this one. Had fought Whittaker in 2019, won it, and it was more like a revenge fight for Whittaker to try to see how to pick on Israel Adesanya. But it was a fierce battle, Bright Gems. It was such a fierce battle that went on, an unanimous decision, 48-47, 48-47, and 49-46, quite close. But on the average, Israel did it again, defending his fourth title after beating the likes of Yoel Romero and name it, Paco, Costa, and the rest of it. Even Marvin, he had beaten Marvin in recent times. And it's been quite a story for the last style bender. That's him. Look at the way he's walking. You realize full of confidence, energy, telling the whole world and raising the Nigerian flag for me. I'm quite interested in that. Israel, not looking so bulky in terms of physique, but quite a technical fighter you would have, and one of the finest in the UFC.
Right. One of the finest in the UFC, Israel Adesanya. And now he's growing from strength to strength, and well, it looks like the middleweight is his thing. The only time we saw him step above in division, he was blown away by Blacksmith, and it wasn't quite a story. Maybe he should stay here for a bit and hone his skills in preparation for the heavyweight division. But how long do you think he has to stay here? Before he makes that push to the heavyweight division?
The thing is, does he necessarily need to go to the heavyweight division? I think he doesn't. He doesn't need to stay in the middleweight, be a great champion in the middleweight for as long as possible.
Yeah, but you're talking, of course, the bragging rights that comes with stepping across divisions and doing what you've been doing in one division. More like the cruiserweights, the welterweight, and then the heavyweights.
I know, but he tried it once. It didn't seem to work out for him. Yeah. But the thing about Israel is, when you look at his structure, he's not the all-out fighter that you get. You think, okay, he's going to go pound for pound. That's why you can't rate Israel Adesanya as one of the finest pound for pound boxers in the UFC. But it's all about the technique. He knows how to pick the points. He gives you a kick and stays far away from you. And when you go to a higher division, it requires you to bring an energy, get closer, come out with those pound-for-pound fights and boxings. And we don't get that with Israel Adesanya. What we get with Israel Adesanya is the fact that Israel Adesanya can actually play quite well and fight quite well and give those skills. And it's all about the skills. And for me, I think he should stay in his division and throw the skills, do the finish, bring in all the style, make in everything you can, bring in whatever you can, and she'll be top of that division. Fine wrestler for me, if I were to call him a wrestler, but fine UFC fighter.
Started as a boxer, he tried boxing for a bit before switching and specializing in the UFC. So he's not entirely out of place to call him a boxer. Well, maybe he hasn't done that professionally.
Not a boxer per se. I think he's been in MMA at the time, being also a mixed martial artist at the time. And that's the beauty about Israel Adesanya. He's coming from different areas of fighting division. So he's a kickboxer, mixed martial artist, and when you bring this combination into the UFC, it gives you advantage over others who are more like typical wrestlers. They go on the ground, grab your foot, and try to put your back on the ground. And that's not the style for Israel Adesanya. But the thing is, he has a lot of finesse, he has a lot of style, and that's the beauty of Israel Adesanya. I'm proud of him, I'm proud of what he's done for Nigeria in terms of representing the country and the entire Africa. He's an inspiration for generations.
No, it has a very long name, long Yoruba name. Has, Lua Femi and the rest of them buried, in there. But now the UFC president were talking. Dana White confirmed that Adesanya's next opponent after his latest UFC 271 fight would be Jared Connor, and that would be next in line for Adesanya following this title defense you seeing on your screen right here. Well, congratulations to Adesanya. Continue to rap us well on the global stage.